You're muted, Declan.
God damn it. Damn it, you think how many years into this we'd kind of know. Good evening. I hope you are having a very, very pleasant, I guess I already said evening, a pleasant
Monday?
night so far. It is, you are joining us live for the latest episode of Saving Grace Season 2, A Garden of Lies. Tonight's chapter, delightfully and devilishly titled Home is Where the Heart Is. Before we give you a quick recap on the previous episode's events, very, very quickly, if this is your first time around these parts, and we've had some new subscribers since AdventureCon, which is great to see. You are most welcome to D8 Dungeon. We are a group of TTRPGers, predominantly from Ireland, but with friends and players all across the globe. Our passion is telling stories and sharing them with audiences, having a laugh, having a cry, and just creating really memorable tales. You can find more about us on social media at D8 Dungeon on all major social media channels. You can head over to our Discord server where some of the coolest people on the internet hang out. And if you want to get involved in any D8 Dungeon productions, that Discord server is the best space to hear about upcoming projects, of which I have 2, 3, 4. I'm on 4, and that doesn't include D8 Dungeon Drive. So I took 4 days off last week, so that's my holidays for the next 3 years done. So we will be looking for people to get involved and play these games with us. And if you're up for that and you'd like to get on board and join us, then do head over to the Discord. I'm going to hand you over to Emma, who's going to tell you about some friends of ours and where you might get some goodies.
Yes, we are very happy that we are sponsored by Mystery Dice Goblin, who are a D&D dice and accessory store based in the UK. They do really cool, fun mystery bags, which Declan is fond of. To put it mildly.
I was clicking the link to take me to the store.
But they have some really, really cool stuff. And if you use the code D8, you get 15% off your order. And that gives money to us to help us pay for artists and musicians and everything to keep us looking good. So please go to Mystery Dice Goblin if you're going to buy dice anytime soon.
Awesome. And before we dive into tonight's session, Tendai is going to give us a really wonderful recap of the charming events that took place on the grounds of the estate.
So we finally made it onto the grounds of the estate after a bit of acrobatics to scale walls, and we were promptly left behind by Shiet in the form of a crow. Xander did the gentlefolkly thing and passed us back some rope. We all got there, and then the environment just went to shit. We all got separated. There was gases bubbling everywhere. A couple of us got lost in the fog and separated. There happened to be a deceptively lovely lady who mistook Grace for Z-Help.
Shame.
Because of the way she was dressed.
Because of the way she was dressed, I didn't know the help wore armor and carried dual scimitars, but there you go. So she tried to trick Grace into essentially, I think, holding on to her, but the rest of the party got some tea as to the stories around this place that they did not impart on Grace before they got separated.
It slipped her mind.
Of course. But yes, that happened. We all reunited in the end to fight essentially what was it called? It was a zombie
clot.
Zombie clot. So just
was
a
blood.
giant blob of zombie parts and pieces, which disgusting in theory and also audibly, but it was pretty cool. But we defeated that. We lost our good old shady helper. He was squished promptly.
Oh yeah. Rip.
Rip.
You're all Heart Eilish.
Right. She yet did find some of those wonderful fault lines, and we ended up in the house,
Mhm.
and we were promptly locked inside. And last thing was Grace waking up in a very cushy bed. Everything seemed far too normal, and they were being woken up, I believe, for breakfast by one of the staff in the house.
Who was wearing armor and had swords.
It's all the rage. It's all the rage these days. Oh yes, and before Grace woke up, there was a lovely rhyme. I didn't write down the whole thing, but essentially, one of the party is a liar, one is definitely doomed, one will never know peace, and one is going to kill Grace. So, yeah, I made that.
Yay.
Wonderful. Thanks, T. And all of the VODs from the past 7 episodes are available on our YouTube channel. So if you missed out on any of that or you want to rewatch it, you can head on over to youtube.com/@D8 Dungeon, I think is the way to get to it, or just search D8 Dungeon on YouTube and you'll get the Saving Grace, all the back episodes available there to watch and check out. And as we begin tonight's episode, I think it's going to before we begin to play, I'm trying out something. So this is to explain to this is for everybody at home who can kind of if you're interested in trying out ridiculous mechanics that may or may not work for a D&D game. I'm a theater of the mind DM. I very rarely use maps unless I've had the time to actually sit down and make them myself. Even then I only ever use them as a point of reference, never really for my combat or the setting for an actual game. I am because we're basing this in a haunted house. I have decided that it would be fun to draw 12 tiles from the betrayal at house on the hill.
It's on the hill.
And I was looking at the box, and I just couldn't read the word house.
It happens to us all.
Yeah,
It's a tough word.
it's a very tough word.
House.
And if you've played that game, you'll know that the house is built by drawing tiles at random as you move through the different levels of it. And this is just something that I wanted to kind of experiment with. I have drawn 12 tiles out of the box, and with the exception of kind of the prelude to what's about to happen, I have told the players that there are 4 safe spaces within that house. And while it might not always be the case, finding their way through the house isn't going to be just as simple as drawing a map and sort of keying things to memory. The tiles that will be drawn, we will pull for as each player passes through a doorway. I can ask players at any time to roll a D13, which again they're aware of, and in doing so, as they pass through a doorway, there is a chance that they may potentially roll a 13, which there's only 12 tiles, so there's no guarantee as to what that 13th die number could mean. I know what it could be. I'm really, really excited if someone does roll it. It should be interesting. But I digress. The party are familiar. And again, if you want to chat about this or how to use it in your own games, feel free to message me over on the Discord. I love shoehorning in other mechanics into D&D 5e, just for the sake of a good story and never for the mechanics. So I don't know if this will even work. We'll find out the hard way. Okay, Grace, you've you hear the knock on your door. You feel the plush, soft, duck feathered pillow under your head. You feel the weight of two very heavy blankets on you. You hear the faint crackling of a fire in its dying embers. The very, very faint aroma of smoke that sort of billows up from a fireplace somewhere nearby. And all the while, you can just hear a just faint knocking on a bedroom door.
Um, uh, hello?
Milady, Milady, do you wish to join his master for breakfast, or should I have one of the staff fetch your morning meal?
I will join them. I will I will go down for breakfast. Thank you.
Very good, ma'am. I'll have two of your attendants. And you just hear kind of join you as she slips, this other voice just kind of slips away from the door.
Mm, uh, oh no. Okay, I want to just like spring out of that bed and just start rooting around in the room to see if I can find anything to give me an idea as to what is happening.
You you throw yourself out of the bed. So are you, is it that sort of rummaging really, really quickly, like investigating, or is it just sort of what do I see as I crash out of the bed?
What do I see? Like kind of getting out of the bed, and then based on anything that might pique my interest, going to that first.
Okay. As you kind of hoist the blankets off of yourself, you do like your body feels lighter, like it's and you don't know if that's just that sudden the weight of those blankets or what, but you feel like you don't feel the stiffness, you don't feel the aches, you don't feel the heaviness that seemed had set into your bones, Grace. And as you sort of spill your feet out onto the floor, it is a very plush carpet, and you do feel kind of the slight chill on the air, but the room is magnificent. The room is uh, you've never seen like so you've seen plenty of rooms like this usually when you were breaking in and trying not to make too much noise as you kind of pass through, but you'd never in your wildest dreams ever stayed in a room, let alone even kind of held the thought that you might uh own one of these types of spaces, rent a type of space like this. But the room is grand. There is ornate furniture everywhere. There's a huge armoire, and you can see that one of the doors is slightly askew, and there is just a mountain of fabric spilling out.
This is very much going to unsettle Grace. And is there a mirror in the room?
You give me an investigation check.
Okay, okay. Let's go. Oh, dice, dice, dice. Not gonna try any of the new dice I bought because knowing my luck, they're just gonna like mess me up. Ooh, okay, that's not too bad. Oh, sorry, 1 second. My D&D just crashed. That is dirty 20.
Okay. It's that thing of like there's two armchairs, very, very fine armchairs, a long couch between them, a very ornate reception table that has fresh flowers in a vase sitting on it, next to a tray filled with small little delicacies and treats. You spy, like as you're kind of taking in that, Grace, you do spy just sort of on the other side of the bed towards, we'll say, the northern wall. There is a sort of room divider with kind of a gown thrown over it, and you just catch like the corner of like kind of a mirror. You can kind of just see kind of the light catching on it, and it's next to sort of a vanity table.
Okay. I'm going to walk towards it, not rushing, but walking towards it with a purpose. I just need to see my reflection in that mirror.
You sort of sweep past the room divider. You sit down and you catch your reflection across from you. And three things become apparent in that reflection. This is not your body. The woman staring at you, dark-skinned elven woman, but there isn't a blemish. There isn't a mark. There is just these deep, like it's her eyes are absolutely glorious. It is this swirling amber, but there are flecks of jade green in them, and they seemed to catch the light. It's almost as if you were holding up a jewel into the sun. The light kind of dances in her eyes. Very, very sharp jawline, where Grace slightly kind of rounder, stronger. This woman has a very, very sharp, fragile sort of jawline down into a thin bird-like neck. She's a high elf. You can tell kind of by kind of the point and elongation of her ears, but in her frame as well, she is very, very thin, but not in an unhealthy way, not in a sickly way. She has this long, dark brown hair that has been braided into one sort of heavy mound that is now kind of draped over her left shoulder. And behind her, you see two shadows.
Do the shadows have a vague form or just
Vague, enough for you to distinguish that it's not one entity. There are two, but you can't tell exactly who or what they are. But they stand over her.
in a menacing way or in a like a sentinel?
Give me an insight check at disadvantage.
Hiya. Okay. Oh no, what is that? Oh no, jeez. Okay. This is fine. This is okay. No, it's not. I got an 8.
You stare at them. It's that your eyes are kind of drawn up towards these shades. And one seems to ignore you outright. It doesn't seem to, it seems to be staring kind of through you almost. It doesn't seem to kind of acknowledge. It's looking at look, it's looking through you. But the other stares deep down into the pit of who you are.
Ugh.
And you just hear a laughter. Grace?
Where's the laughter coming from?
The laughter's coming from within your head.
Oh, no.
You heard a voice come from not like you've heard that someone call out your name external to that laughter.
I'm going to try and follow the sound of my name being called.
I don't have much time. You're growing stronger, Grace, and you now see the woman in your reflection speaking directly to you.
Who's they? Who's they? Who are you?
I am so sorry. Unspeakable things are going to unfold in this house again, and I am powerless to stop them. And now you see she's clutching at a locket, like a chain around her neck. And you see tears beginning to well up in her eyes. I don't have the time, Grace. He knows I'm here. You have to get out.
How'd I do that?
Find the keys. And you just see two hands wrap themselves around her neck. And they begin to strangle her. And her eyes begin to bulge as she starts to cough.
Grace is going to reel from this image and like try to throw themselves like away from the mirror. Can they feel what's happening, or are they just unwilling participant?
You are watching this woman be strangled in front of you. As you sort of pull away from it, you watch, and the hands are getting done. The fingers break the skin, and you can see blood as she starts to tremble. The vanity table begins to rattle violently. Things are knocked to one side as if her feet are kicking and struggling against it. She is vaulted backwards through the mirror, and it just vanishes.
Ooh.
You are mine, Eleanor. Now and always. Mine. And you see that the darkness begins to swirl.
Oh no. Does that voice sound familiar in any shape, way, or form?
No.
You are mine, Eleanor.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okie dokie. That's a 2.
And you are mine, Grace Stormfield. And to two hands just wrap themselves around your shoulders, and you feel the wet and the damp, and the skin slip as she presses herself against you.
Oh no.
Make an attack roll, please.
Oh shit. Okay. I assume, is it just like unarmed or?
Oh yeah, we're going to say unarmed.
Okay. That is a 14.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to roll a d4.
That is a 3.
Byron, what is your AC?
12.
Okay, roll for damage, Grace.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm sorry. Actually, you know what?
Yeah,
Payback. I think my unarmed strike just does 4 straight up.
Okay. I can check for you 2 seconds. Nope, that's the wrong thing.
We have it rested. Sure, we have it.
Nope.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I think we had a short rest before we entered the garden.
Yes. Yeah. I was nice. I let you short rest.
Thank you.
Okay.
That does wonders for my XP.
Oh, great. Delighted for you for that. Oh, it does. Yeah, you just Jesus. Okay, Grace, you just do full 4 damage to Byron. In this moment, as you feel this entity wrap itself around you and embrace, and you feel the wet heat, the stench of death, you lash out, Grace, and your right hand just swings back, and your hand connects with something. And Byron, you feel one of the teeth on the left side of your face just break as a hand just sort of wallops back violently, and the 4 of you find yourselves in a dusty hallway. And this is where our saunter through the house begins. You are standing
What was that for? I said I was sorry.
Yes. I apologize. I think I might still have some. I was just a little bit jumpy after what happened in the garden. I thought I'd heard something. I apologize.
In my mouth?
Well, not necessarily in your mouth. I just thought I heard something in that general direction, and I apologize, Byron. That was not intentional.
Well, now I guess we're even.
Yes. But that wasn't for that sake. I do apologize.
Better watch out then.
Oh God! Like Grace's face is actually just going to be like a shade of like red as they like look at the floor, mortified.
Did we see Grace glaze over or anything during that time, or is this like happened within seconds of us all hearing that voice?
Yeah, it's all within kind of a flash.
This is not the first time Grace has lashed out at an unassuming.
There was that guy who they bit the face off in the tower.
Yeah, that's right. And she is just writing this down.
and yep. I think it's been some time since I had some sleep and rest.
Yeah, I mean, same for all of us. We don't go around slapping each other.
No, that is quite true. But I do believe none of you suffered as much damage from our earlier incident in the carriage.
No, that is true.
Anyway, just stating facts. Shuya's going to try open the door that's slammed behind us.
You turn around, Shiet, and those two large black oaken doors with the wrought iron through them are not there.
They're not
Instead,
there.
yeah, there's just a long hallway. You do see a door at the end of it, but it is not the front doors that the four of you came through moments ago.
Ah. Is there a bit of a sticky situation we found ourselves in?
Byron?
Yes.
You know this place like the back of your hand, huh?
I wouldn't say that.
Um,
I've left the blueprints back at the hotel.
Yeah. I found
Why?
I found your diary, and it seems like that you actually do know quite a lot about this place. So
I'm sorry, my diary.
a journal, sorry, whichever you're more comfortable saying. But yeah. So you know a good chunk of knowledge. It seems like you've been actually, and he's flipping through. Yeah, you've been withholding certain things, I guess. So
Well, I think you should give that back to me. It is my property.
No, I think Shuet should read it out and inform everyone.
Yes. I too would like to hear.
oh, all right. Yeah, no, people never want to hear. But yeah, all right. Okay. Sure. Declan, any issues with me reading out loud exactly what I found in this?
Yeah. Take it away. I'd like you to deliver it as Juliet, though, if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, the I found it in a claw, so it's a little bit disrupted. So I could only. These are the only ones that are you know, understand. You can understand them as yeah. I'll just start. So this one I found quite interesting because it's about you, Grace. So it says, Miss Grace Stormfield has yet another letter regarding her tiresome research into the Blackmore estate, which I find, now sometimes I'm not good with this, but I think that's quite rude. She demands clarification on the house's history and in particular the so-called incident that led to its decline. I have yet to respond. I fail to see how her meddling benefits anyone but herself. Some doors should remain shut. And this is what's led me to believe, Byron, that you are withholding information because, you know, you're saying doors should remain shut, and it seems like you know more than you're letting on. Should I continue?
Oh,
Yes,
do.
please.
Yes,
Expose my deepest thoughts to the population.
Great. It's actually really good to have your permission on this. So, and there's some delicate pages, and he's trying to shift them and squint in. He's, oh yes, actually, this is a good one. I think we should go here. Here's a really good part, actually. It remains as ever was concealed, and this is about a vault passage. But not entirely inaccessible. The East Wing's hidden corridor, masked behind that ridiculous hunting tapestry, should be sufficient to deter casual interest. What I found most interesting here, actually, is I love a hunting tapestry. And I feel like I don't understand why you... Anyway, listen, I'm getting off now. Those who truly need entry will know that the locking mechanism is temperamental. Pressure must be applied before turning the key, or the whole thing sticks. A design flaw, but a useful one. Which I think that's good for all of us to know, right? If we can find this vault passage, and I feel like Byron could just lead us right there by the sounds of things. Is it okay?
Why on earth would I do that?
Why on earth would you not lead us to the place where we might be able to figure out what we're doing here?
The vault. You think all of the Blackmore's wealth is going to give you a reason what you're doing here?
Well, considering that we were alone, that door is closed, it doesn't seem to imply that the vault will actually be in the vault.
I just think it's interesting that you know so many minute details about the place.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I do. I'm handling the estate.
But you said you didn't know anything about it.
I
A
had to
second
see
ago.
what you knew already.
Why? That doesn't make
To
sense.
make sure. What do you mean?
Well,
I'm
I-
not just going to give the Blackmoor's fortune to any Tom, Dick, or Harry that walks in off the street claiming to be Grace Stormfield.
But yet you were tired of my what was the word used, Chuyet? About my
Meddling.
meddling? Yes. Yet you seem to be pretty perturbed by my meddling to try and find out more about said estate. So I'm confused.
About what?
Did you not want us to be here or not?
Oh no, I couldn't wait for you to get here.
Why?
These two stragglers. You never mentioned them in any of your letters.
I only met them at the what was that? Crack Farnham?
Correct. No, you're on
Nookery?
correct. Farnham.
Oh
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Nookery.
Knockery. Ooh, yeah.
And do you think it's convenient that you're coming here to discover a fortune and happen to pick up two tales?
To be fair, there was an ad in the paper kind of announcing Blackmoor's
I beg
death.
your pardon?
Wasn't there, Declan? We read stuff.
There was like an article in a newspaper announcing the passing of the final family member of the Blackmoor estate, and that the estate was currently under the care of the, again, I can't remember the exact law firm, Eilish, that Byron works for, but they were handling the estate until a relative could be found or could be traced.
Wait till I get my hands on that one.
Well, that's how they're here.
So, Byron, there's a couple of other things in here, but I don't think they're important for right now. But
Okay.
could you maybe be more honest?
Well, then again, if anyone else heard the mysterious voice, one of us is a liar. Isn't that right?
Yeah, well, and then
It
he
kind of
writes
comes
that
with
down.
Comes with the territory.
Oh yes, being a solicitor.
That was so good.
Oh God.
I don't
Grace, a
reward
stabbing
bullying.
pain.
Make a death saving throw, Grace.
I'm getting them all now. I'll probably die by the end of the game. Grace is going to be quite like has Byron's mannerisms changed? Have they gone from being quite, I suppose, quite, I don't know, before it seemed like he was a bit more,
Confident.
not necessarily confident, but just maybe a bit more chill?
Unassuming.
Like, yeah, does he seem a bit more hostile? Right
Whatever
now.
do you mean?
Are you asking me or asking Byron?
Don't be giving me that voice no more. We got you, liar. Yeah. So what is the, I suppose, what is Byron's kind of attitude now? Before, where it seemed to be very, I suppose before he was maybe a bit ditzier.
Mm.
Give me an insight check, please.
Okay. I'm trying to suss if this is all like some sort of an act, or trying to determine if before was an act. So that was a 12.
So, tell you what, Eilish, make me you can decide. I want you to message me which of your charisma-based skills you want to use. So you could perform your way out of this, you could persuade your way out of this, or you could lie your way out of this. And then I'm going to ask you to make that roll.
That's friendly fire against
Discord?
Grace seems a lot more targeted now.
Honestly, being the liar seemed like the best of all the options, so I'm kind of raging.
Yeah, well, one of you is going to kill Grace.
Listen, it doesn't mean that that person can't be all of them.
Okay, and can you make that roll for me now, please?
Oh, fuck me. 14.
You get the sense, Grace, that Byron is definitely on guard and caught off guard. But then when someone announces that they have found your journal that contains your innermost thoughts and feelings, and then reads those feelings out for named people that anybody else could be a little. So they do seem defensive, and but that you're not sure if that's just because Chouette's reading out their diary.
Okay. Well, regardless of where that, I suppose it would be handy if you showed us where this tapestry is, since you left the blueprint back in the hotel for what reason I cannot fathom.
Oh, you've never forgotten a document in your life, no?
Well, I'm not a solicitor. This isn't documents aren't my job.
I also don't want to be here, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well,
But if you
thank
want to
you
see-
for actually being honest.
Xander just throws Chouette a look because of like, "Ugh."
Chouette, as you are kind of, I'd say, if it's fair, you've probably missed that look because you are probably rereading Byron's diary for the 15th time. Xander, what are you doing? Like, as you are kind of, as Grace and Byron are kind of biting back at each other, Chouette is sort of making a copy of the diary entries now in their own journal. What are you doing?
Can I snap the journal, or attempt to snap the journal from Shia?
You can. You're not being sneaky, but you're trying to reach and grab it.
Yeah, like when I see them making notes.
You can give me a sleight of hand check, and because they're not being sneaky about it, Emma, I'll let you contest it.
With another sleight of hand?
No, straight up sort of deck saving throw.
Okay.
Xander, knowing that we're in this kind of weird kind of corridor now and the doors disappear behind us, he's going to just, as everyone's kind of bickering in the background, have a look at the doors that we can see or the corridors that we can see. Is there anything weird about like the walls or anything wall hanging?
Give me an
or anything like
investigation
that?
check.
I can indeed.
And Byron and Chouette.
9.
15.
Yeah, it's that thing she had as you like you've had kind of memorized anyway. Like that's it's you weren't. It wasn't that you have the whole thing, but the pages that you were able to rescue, you have sort of in your own shorthand jotted them down in between having found it, memorized it, and now kind of making a copy for yourself into your own bound journal. Byron snatches the sort of soiled, semi-destroyed journal, and you, Byron, you're holding it. It is wet, like it's wet, and a lot of the pages are destroyed.
Where did you find this?
It was in a claw in a wall.
What kind of claw?
Declan?
you found it. Remember that kind of that mound of what you thought was maybe compost,
Yeah.
and it was like a living mound of flesh and muck that attacked you.
Yeah. Yeah. So he'll say it was less a wall, more of a mound barrier, and it was both alive and dead, which was quite interesting. And yeah, I just we had a I feel like I made a valiant effort to get that journal, so you're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem.
Xander,
I rolled a 12 plus a 6, so 18.
the corridor that the four of you find yourselves standing in, and you are in the middle of it. There are 4 different hallways that stretch out. At the end of each, you do see a deep kind of burnt orange brown mahogany door, and the only other thing you can kind of glean from here is that the room you're in is covered in dust. This hallway is just it seems to have been left unattended, and you have found there are several sets of footprints through the dust.
Okay. Leading down the different corridors, or is it just us shuffling about?
No.
Okay.
You see yours, but then there are many different sets of footprints elsewhere.
Okay. Are they going in like both directions, or is there any one particular direction that seems to be the footprints leading towards it?
No, they're all they've all just splintered off.
Okay.
And they're all various different sizes, different shoes. There is one. I will tell you, there is one that you do see where there is a foot and something dragging where another foot should be. That leads to the hallway behind you.
So, does anyone have any preference for what way we go? Seems to be footfall going in all these directions.
Byron, which way? Where do these doors go to?
I forgot the blueprints.
Nah.
He's gonna just kind of gesture and be like, this way to the kitchen, this way to the drawing room, and there's some bedrooms up the stairs.
Oh, so you don't need the blueprints?
If you want specifics, I can't help you.
Okay. Well, the only thing I can notice is something seemed to have been dragged this way. Anyone's interested in that, or?
I don't know if we should be going in the same direction as something that's been dragged.
I'd agree. I don't fancy that. Can I try and... How big are the footprints? Well, the main footprint. How big is it?
The main footprint is in the one dragging?
Yeah, the one dragging the stuff. Like, how big is that footprint?
It looks to be it looks to be somebody at least over 6 foot. Like the left foot. And it's humanoid.
Humanoid.
Yeah. As to whatever the thing it's being dragged, you can't tell. But something has been dragged through the dust.
Rightio. And what about the other footprints?
Again, it's a mishmash of kind of bare feet and shoes, and they all track off down the different corridors. So you have north, south, east, and west.
Oh, I'm really interested in bare feet one. That one was surprising. Rightio. I'm just going to relay this information in case somebody isn't able to read those sort of tracks and be like, I don't know about this one. They seem to be quite big, and as said, we don't know what is being dragged.
No. My thought is maybe Do we sneak up on the big thing before the big thing sneaks up on us?
That
I would rather have the upper hand, as I feel like we haven't really had that recently.
okay.
But I will go for the majority.
So, I don't see why not.
Okay.
So you're going to go to the room behind you. You're going to go south.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't mind skirting ahead kind of to the door if there's like a keyhole or something that I can kind of look through.
Yeah, if you want to move up.
I feel like I'm going to regret that.
I think we all are.
Yeah. I'll be
The-
checking for traps.
3 of you watch as Xander sort of skulks down the corridor. Xander, you see that the walls here, they are coated in a dust as well. And it's now starting to kind of catch. It's one of those things when you start to notice it, that you now can't help but not see it everywhere. And now you're actually finding some of the dust. Your eyes are actually getting itchy from it. And as you make your way towards the corridor, every step, like it looked to be about maybe kind of 20 feet, 20, 30 feet from that central nexus where the 4 of you were to that. But within 3 steps, you've reached the door and you're hacking. Like that dust is at the back of your throat, and it's as if the door rushes itself up to meet you.
Okay. I hold my breath. Yeah. Weird.
Give me
Is it-
a perception check.
Perception check. Okay. Okay, not too bad. 16.
You peer down in through the keyhole. So what's the name of your beloved?
Emily.
When you do, you see into the room. It's your room.
Oh.
You and Emily's room. And you just see her move sort of from one side of the room, kind of past the door. And you just hear her call out, Xander, I'm waiting.
He kind of feels like a lump in his throat, and he kind of stands up really quite abruptly, and panically takes a step back and makes his way back to the group and just kind of bypasses them to go down another corridor.
What is it?
No, nothing important.
So north, west, or east?
Just straight ahead from where he's going. So that was if we went. That was
You went south.
backwards.
You're going to go right into the
Yeah.
north, and you're just going to go straight for that door.
Well, he's just going to go down. Everyone, just this way.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
What did you see? That room should be empty.
Wisdom saving throw. 11.
You can still hear her. You can still hear Emily behind you. Her voice is echoing up through the corridor as you brush past Byron and you kind of walk between Grace and Juliette. And all of you just see Xander, who had sort of skillfully snuck down that corridor, now just sort of bracing past the 3 of you. You take a moment to almost kind of wait to check the door. Again, it's learned behavior. It's muscle to you, Xander. And then you hear Emily call out again. Your hand reaches for the door, and you pull yourself through. I need you to roll a D13 for me.
Okay. D13. Okay. How do I roll specifically a D13? Do you want to add a number?
If you want, I have it up here, and I can
Okay.
just roll it for you because it's just rolladie.net, and then you can ask it to.
Oh, yep, got it. Okay, let's go. That was a 4.
Okay, top, middle, or bottom of the stack.
Top.
So I'm going to take the first tile from the top.
Oh no, Declan! The bottom of the stack. The bottom of the stack.
No.
I'm dead.
Okay. You open the door, and there's nothing. It's that thing of as you open it, you should not have been able to open the door from this side. The amount of water as you push through, water begins to spill out down the corridor, down towards Byron, Shuyette, and Grace. The corridor is beginning to fill with water, and Xander on the other side. As this torrent of water rushes in over you, you can see what looks to be like an underground cave. And I need everyone to make a dex saving throw.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
DC 16.
DC 16.
Fuck.
Natural 20.
Nice.
boy.
18 for me.
18 for me too.
There's a total of 26.
10.
Bye, Byron.
Bye.
So everybody who passed, I want you to take 3 bludgeoning damage. Byron, take 5. You are just this wall of water just spills in on top of you, and Grace, Shuyette, and Xander, you're holding onto the door, so it's enough to kind of help you brace yourself. But Grace and Grace and Shuyette, you're able to kind of brace, and Shuyette, even in your case, just sort of coat your body with sort of a water-resistant oil, and you're able to sort of hold as the water slams into you. You are kind of knocked into a wall, but Byron, you take the full wallop and force of that water as it rushes in, and you are slammed into one of the walls. The corridor, the dusty hallway that the 4 of you are standing in, is filled with water. You are all kind of floating. There is literally a head's distance between the ceiling and the top of the water.
No longer dusty.
It is a putrid salt water.
Okay.
Ooh. Is it murky?
It's dark, but you don't know if that's necessarily the water itself or because there is little to no light in this space.
Okay. And looking into into the room that this came from, is that room also full of water, or?
From where you are, Grace, yeah, it just looks like just water everywhere. Xander, you can see into that next room, and it looks like a cave. It looks like an underground lake.
I hope you all can swim. I will kind of make my way back over to the group. Byron, what do you know about caves in this area? Wasn't really expecting to find one in a house.
Me neither.
It's okay. You can tell us what you know. This is a safe space.
I know that that's not what the room looked like the last time I opened this door. There aren't supposed to be any water-filled caverns on the ground floor of the Blackmore estate.
Right.
Okay. But do you know anything about any of the caves on this island or here?
Declan?
Give me a Give me an intelligence. Give me a history roll. Sorry. Yeah.
That one.
Oh no.
A cave is dark. Or I can spell cave.
I saw a picture of a cave in a book once.
Look,
I'm
I've
allergic
heard
to caves.
rumors that there's creatures living in these caves, unnatural things.
Xander, something moves
know.
in the dark.
Under the water?
Into the water.
From the room.
From the other side. Yeah.
Okay, now that you say that, we are not alone.
Pardon?
Something.
I mean, they're rumors. They're
Oh,
not
no,
true.
no. My eyes aren't rumors, though, and something dark just kind of went into the water from up there.
From up there?
From the cave.
Okay, Grace is going to quickly scan the room. Is there like a staircase or...
So you're still in. None of you have gone into that room. You're all still kind of in the center of the dusty hallway. So from this vantage, you can see little to nothing. But for Xander, who had kind of swum back a little, that's unless any of you want to go further or go into the room itself, I can't describe any more to you.
Yeah, Shiet would definitely like to see what on earth is going on in there. That really piques his interest. So.
If we're standing in the corridor, Declan, like, are we floating?
You're floating.
Like we're treading water?
Yeah.
Okay. Xander kind of shouts back to the rest, nobody ask any questions, and I'm going to crawl up the wall so I'm out of the water. And just kind of like cling onto the wall. Just because I know that whatever's gone into the water is probably closest to me.
It's more a case of you just put your hands up onto the ceiling and you're now kind of leaning back. You're out of the water, but your hands and feet are planted firmly on the ceiling.
Go. Yep.
What do you mean?
I'm
don't
the
ask
liar.
Questions.
Sure, I'm the liar.
I never said I couldn't do this.
But okay, so why are you up there?
Because there's something in there, and I kind of point.
Okay. Grace is going to shit.
She's going to shit.
Grace, now is not the time.
Listen, gonna scare that thing out of the water. But Grace is going to draw one scimitar. And is there anything that they can do?
Can I?
I can. Okay. I'm going to cast protection from good and evil on myself.
Okay.
What did
That's
you
selfish.
say?
I'm the one crawling out of the water to save my skin, Grace, so don't worry.
I can't exactly I'm not Spider-Man. Yeah, that's all I can do. That's all I can do. I don't necessarily want to go into that room by myself. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to cast protection from good and evil on myself.
Okay. What's everybody else doing?
I think I would like to shapeshift into a bat. And use my... What's that thing that bats have where they can sense...
Echolocation?
Yeah, that's the one. To see what's in the water.
And this is one of your wild shapes?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Byron?
Is there any sort of shore? Like any sort of raised area in the water that I can just put down on?
In the dusty hallway? No. There's nothing to stand on. There's nothing to kind of rest against. You'll have to go into the room beyond just to get a better sense of what it is that you are dealing with. But Grace, as you kind of whisper a prayer to yourself, and you feel kind of the light wrap itself around you. Yet you shift into bat form, and you are kind of hovering, kind of just above the water. And are you flying into? Are you just casting out an echo location?
Yes, essentially. Is that something I can do? I tell me if I'm bending the D&D rules by doing that.
I mean,
We're playing Betrayal in the middle of the D&D game.
There's a lot of bending the rules.
It does. Bats do have. So the bat can't use its blind sight while deafened. So you have. Yep. You have advantage on perception checks.
Okay.
And you are using your echolocation to do this. So.
Cool. I would like to see what's in the water. Yeah. So can I perceive that?
Okay. You. As you. It's a very, very strange thing. As you kind of set out these little clicks down into the water, a couple kind of bounce back at you, and as you sort of zoom further out, towards that room, not going into it, kind of closer to Xander. There is something huge moving in the water. It seems to be swimming in a circle, close to the edge of the doorway here. But as for what it is, and it's a what, not a who, you can't discern. It is about kind of 45, 50 feet under the water.
Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does dark vision work in water?
I mean, I would, like, in what sense? Like, can you use your dark vision to see? I mean, your vision is going to be obscured underwater anyway. So, I mean, you're going to open your eyes. Your vision, it can't be more than about 10 feet.
And how far away is this thing?
So you're still in the middle of that room. So you'd have to swim to the edge.
But that thing isn't like coming through that doorway, correct?
No, it is. Again, nothing has come out of the doorway. You still don't know what's in there or beyond that space, Grace, because Shuyet's in bat form hasn't been communicated to any of you. So as I see it currently, the two people closest to the door, not even closest to the room beyond, but the closest to the door, are Shuyet and Xander. Byron and yourself are sort of still kind of threading water in the middle of that dusty hallway, now a flooded hallway.
Okay. Grace is going to swim towards the door, but trying to keep like to the edge, so they're not like just swimming like straight towards the door, kind of like skirting around and then swimming along the wall to try and get a little sneaky peek, while thinking how dumb of a decision this is right now. But they're going to try it.
Okay, so you're going to try and stare down into this.
Yeah, so I'm just going to like go across like a bit to the side, so not directly in front of the door, so whatever is in there won't necessarily see me coming, but they're going to like kind of sidle up and try and look, because they're going to know that like their vision is going to be obscured anyway considering it's all dark and murky. So they know they'll need probably a closer look and just kind of trying to like see if they can see anything at all.
As you kind of make your way up towards Xander, who is clinging to the ceiling, and Shiet, who's in bat form, just kind of hovering there, leaving kind of Byron floating in the center of the hallway. You make your way towards this towards the doorway, and kind of ducking under the water and just sort of moving in. You again, the water stings your eyes as you open, and you do feel this swirling pull. Like it's not a massive force, but just whatever it is that's in the water in the cave, you do sense its size, and you can now make out that there are several. You don't know if they are fins, tentacles, tails, but this huge thing sort of 3/4 of the space in front of you that you can see, 3/4 of this underground lake are taken up by its form as it moves. So it could almost devour its own tail. And as you kind of gasp for air and you feel that kind of that stinging in your lungs, casting your vision around very, very quickly. Below this creature, below this shadow, you can see a doorway.
Ooh.
And you come up for air.
I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but there is a doorway that hopefully would get us out of this underground lake.
Everybody give me perception checks. Byron, I'm just going to, for the sake of argument, say that you've now kind of mustered up the courage to kind of get to the doorway, seeing that the others are there at the same point. If you all want to make a perception check for me.
9.
Though, if you have dark vision, we're going to say. Again, Emma, you can make yours with advantage if you're using your echolocation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what my perception is, but... All right, I'm just going to roll a d20 and we'll just do it at advantage.
I think with Wild Shape you keep your mental stats, so perception is wisdom.
Right, okay.
Unless I think the creature has its own particular skill, so if it had a perception bonus, you would use it, but otherwise it's just your own wisdom modifier.
Thank you, I'm glad you're here yourself. 24 was my...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if you got an 8?
A 9.
9. Byron?
That one's important.
Did you say it's advantage if we have dark vision?
No, it's only advantage for Shiet because they have echolocation.
Oh, okay. Well, 21.
Okay, all right. Okay, well. And Grace?
Sorry, what am I rolling again?
Perception.
That is a... I should really change these dice. I can't see shit on them. They're pretty, but not functional. 13.
Okay. For Shiet, it's a case of sending the clicks out and waiting for them to bounce back. The room beyond is incredibly large. Byron, you just about see it as well from where you are. There is an outcropping of what looks to be stone, flat, smooth stone, and you can both see about from where you are about 20 feet on the eastern wall, a passageway up.
So can I directly fly to that?
Yep.
Do the other
Uh,
saves? Just me and
Just you and Byron. Yeah.
okay. I don't care for Byron anymore. Okay. So in a sort of like attempt, because I assume I can't really communicate in my form, so I'll try to sort of attempt to swoop around like Xander and then Grace, just to try get their attention, and then head towards the passage, so that in the hopes that they will follow my direction.
Okay. Give me a performance check, Xander.
Is it because
Sorry,
Is
Juliet. Sorry.
it because I said swoop?
No, you're trying to communicate. It's kind of like charades.
Yeah, I know what you mean. 14.
Yeah. Okay. It's more a case of the sort of Juliet floating swooping between the pair of you, and then you see him dart towards the western wall, the eastern wall, and then vanish kind of around a corner. Grace and Xander, that you see that there is that platform and a passageway up.
Okay.
That looks somewhat promising. I say upside down.
I'd agree. We should aim for that.
Are you comfortable swimming across the lake, or?
I don't think we have much of a choice, but yes, that should be fine. I can swim.
Declan, if I was to take Grace on my back, would I fall off the ceiling?
You need to give me an athletics check.
Athletics. Oh dear, that's a -1, so maybe not. Okay. Right, I'm just gonna scale the ceiling and the walls to kind of get round to where Juliet is.
Okay. It's that thing that you kind of claw up. It goes from the smooth stone overhead, Xander, into that sort of wet rock face as you scramble over the edge, and you move along that wall towards the platform. It's really strange in here, Xander. It's an underground lake. It's a cave. But as you scramble over the wall, you're clearly climbing over a wooden beam that's been cracked.
Okay.
And
does it look like a wooden beam, or does it just feel like a wooden beam?
it very much is a wooden beam.
Okay.
Grace and Byron.
Byron's just gonna start swimming.
Okay.
Yep, Grace is gonna follow along.
As the pair of you move into the room, the door slams behind you.
Oh no.
Great.
This is me and Xander.
No, everybody's got into the room now.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
So you're currently yet in bat form at that stairwell. You're looking
Yeah.
up. There's a doorway up in front of you. You clearly see another door. It's kind of an arched double door, and as you are looking at that, you do hear this bang as the door that you just come through slams shut behind you. The water goes incredibly still,
Oh no.
and we'll take a break there.
Cool.
Okay.
Are you ready to go? All right. See you all in a bit. Thank you.
Bye.
And we are back. If you just joining us, Shuyet, Xander, Grace, and Byron have found themselves in an underground lake beneath inside the mansion. It doesn't make any sense. As they walked through one of 4 doors in a dusty hallway, they found themselves flooded by stale seawater. Daring to enter the room beyond, they find themselves in a large cavern filled with a putrid, briny substance. Shuyet and Xander have made their way in bat form and human climby form. We have to figure out what that was, Xander. Across the walls, while Grace and Byron have been left to swim into the room to make their way over to an outcropping of rock and floor. As the pair of you kind of push off the wall towards that platform, and it is only 15 feet away. As I said, the water has gone deathly still. But for the ripples around the pair of you as you shift through the water. And it feels somehow thicker than seawater. You are floating in it. There is a buoyancy, but there is something else mingling with this water. And I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Jeez.
Everyone?
No, just Byron and Grace.
Because we're in the tasty, tasty water. Ten.
Okay.
I'm Chris.
Iris?
Both of you start to sink.
Cool.
Both of you,
Bye.
you feel yourselves. At first, it's that thing of like it feels like you're being dragged under, and then you feel it on your skin. You can feel it around the cracks of your mouth. You feel it under the skin of your nose, around the edges of your eyelids, underneath your fingernails. It is a burning pain. It feels as if you are broiling in the water. And every part of you is beginning to be pulled into the liquid as it sizzles and crackles against you. And the water begins to swirl violently. Both of you give me... Grace, both of you give you wisdom saving throws.
Dirty 20. So I won't lose my mind, but I will drown. Cool.
Win some, you lose some.
I got a 1.
Oh no!
Like
Grace
I rolled a
Why not?
2, and my wisdom is -1.
That explains so much.
So... so I don't do... So it's not a 1 is a 1 if you had 2 minus 1. So it's not a nat 1. But it is still a very, very poor roll. And it is that thing, Grace, as you are struggling against this pain, against this agony, you feel yourself, like you feel like you're beginning. It isn't hot, it isn't like you've set into a boiling bath. It's not that kind of heat. This is different. This is horrific. This is being melted by acid incredibly slowly, as if every single cell and fiber of yourself, and you can see it, some of your fingernails are gone, like they have melted away, and as you struggle to hold your breath, you see Byron thrashing around, and again that swirling motion in the water begins to just pull the pair of you in. When Byron, you are able to keep ahead, like keep your wits about you. Grace, something snags you. Reeds and branches seem to wrap themselves around you as you are entangled by the undergrowth here in the lake. And Byron, you are able to pull yourself up
Onto the
like you've just got two hands on the outcropping. Grace, take 6 acid damage. Juliet and Xander, you just see Byron. You saw both of them go down, and you've just seen Byron pull himself out of the water.
Is Byron out of the water? Is he on the outcropping?
He's kind of like his hands are up, and he's trying to hoist himself out.
Okay, I'll kind of jump off the wall and help hoist him out.
Okay. You do, and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh. 7 + 2, 9.
Take 3 acid damage.
Oh.
As you grab Byron, your hands burn. And it's that thing of it's as if someone has just scalded the tops of your hands with boiling wax, Xander. And it's that thing of like you actually, the skin slips, like the surface layer of skin on the palms of your hand has slipped. It is just raw skin underneath.
It's like 2 pairs of gloves now.
As you pull Byron out of the lake, and he is gasping for breath.
That looks unpleasant.
He kind of holds in a gag. Take you.
Did you see where Grace went under?
The water is like it's where she went in is kind of
you were
disturbed,
more or less right next to each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She was here, right beside me.
Okay. Well, do you have any bright ideas?
I have some rope.
I was thinking that too. I'm not sure how long rope is going to last in there, since my hands didn't last very long on you.
Oh yes, apologies.
Juliet, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't want to leave my bat form. It seems so obviously, like, any physical help is not really useful. But I can try suss out where Grace is. I guess.
Okay.
You know how.
Give me a perception check.
Yeah.
Declan, you said about like beams kind of at the wall. Are there any that are loose enough that I could kind of try and dislodge without collapsing the ceiling? So nothing that's got needing structural integrity to kind of put into the water to have Grace hold on to something.
Give me an athletics check, Xander, because there is, like I said, there are a couple of those just kind of sticking out of the walls.
Okay. 17 minus 1, 16.
Okay, I'll come back to that in 2 seconds. Juliet?
Yeah, not 20 + 7, so 27 on perception.
Holy fuck!
Which is great, but I probably can't communicate anything.
So,
Just echo her out with one.
Yeah.
Juliet,
Frantic screeching.
you know Grace is about 10 feet under the water. And she's not sinking any further. She is wrapped in magic. Beneath her, you can sense that creature again. You know it is there. and it is just swimming around.
Okay.
And beneath that is the well.
Oh, I really need to communicate this information. Okay, I'm going to flutter over where this happens, kind of making as much noise as possible. And then, knowing that I have spoken telepathically to Xander before, no, that's metagaming, isn't it? But
No, you do know that you have done that, I guess.
I know, but I shouldn't have said it now.
I've already been thinking it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's metagaming to be like, well, Xander wants. I mean, you're still going to have to try and get Xander's attention while he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I'll flutter on his, fly back over to his shoulder and try kind of nudge him.
Yes.
Are you speaking normally?
Yeah, at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just keep like ramming into you.
Okay, so I'm guessing you try and show me something and you can't speak in this form. Right, give me 1 second. I'm still trying to pull the beam off.
Yeah.
You're pulling, and it is again, it's not the beam you climbed over. That's a little higher up, Xander. It's something lower to the ground. It's actually, as you pull, some of it shifts. It's a section of wall that seems to have fallen down. The beam half breaks off, and there's something buried beneath this pile of rubble. You can just see the cracked, chipped edge, and like the faded gold leaf of something just protruding out as you snap the beam away.
Okay. I will kneel down beside that to get a closer look, and I will cast message to Shuet. Can you still speak this way?
Yes. Grace is exactly where she went under, but
Grace, give me a Constitution saving throw.
But about 10 feet below, she's trapped in magic. I don't think your beam is going to do anything. And there's a large force swirling around her. And I haven't felt or seen anything like this. I think it's protecting the well that's right below her as well. So I don't know. I think we need to stop the magic.
You say well as if we've come across one of those before?
You know what a well is? It's kind of like a structure where you get fresh water.
Grace, what did you get? Okay. Give me a strength saving throw at disadvantage as you take 1 acid damage.
Oh. Ice. Ooh, fuck. Okay, that's fine. First roll was about 20, so that would have been 26, but this is going to be a dirty 20.
Okay. You are able to pull yourself through. It's that thing of like you're wriggling, you're moving through it. It's actually some of the fact that some of the skin on your arm has melted through, and the blood is actually helping you sort of rub through the branches and the vines that have snagged themselves around you.
Yay.
You are able to kind of shift yourself out of the entanglement. You're still kind of somewhat suspended here in the water. You're beginning to feel heavy. Like the darkness is beginning to encroach around you. Byron, Xander, Shuyet.
Look, the beam is the best idea I have so far. If you can come up with anything else, let me know. And I will grab the beam and kind of shove it into the water where I think Grace is.
Okay.
Byron?
I'm gonna go see if the door at the top of the stairs is open.
Okay. As those, like Byron, as you watch sort of Xander plunge the beam into the water. You turn and you head up the kind of this. It's a short flight of stairs. It's not a tall climb or anything like that. Grace, a beam of jagged timber is jutted down, and again you start to see it fleck and fizz under the water. Reaching up and grabbing onto it, I'm going to need you to give me an athletics check, Xander.
Athletics.
To
Okay.
hoist Grace out.
Oh, I love using this -1 skill. 12.
No, it's enough. It's more a case of you're kind of leaning against it and you're kind of throwing your weight onto it rather than just pulling out. So it's sort of a seesaw type thing that you are doing. Grace, you are lifted out of it. The water, the liquid, the ichor slops off of you, and as you break through the surface, you are mine, Elenire. Now and forever, till death do us part, rings in your ears.
This voice. I suppose. Does it share any sort of like similarities to the Grey Lady? Like the
It's a man's
timber?
voice.
Like any sort, like even just like the flow of how they speak? Nothing at all?
No.
Okay.
There is a like it is that unnerving aura, all right, but they don't sound the same.
Right. Grace is going to just start hacking up a lung. And probably screaming a bit because they've lost skin on their arm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Shiet and Xander, as he stare down at Grace, who is gasping for air and screaming with every mouthful of it that they are able to pull into their lungs. Grace, your skin is on fire, and the cold air here in the cavern is only making it worse. Byron, roll a d13 for me, please.
Oh, I got a 4 again. Roll again.
No, that's fine. Top, middle, or bottom?
Bottom.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. You reach for the door. Byron, kind of hearing Grace screaming, she's alive, and you have to press on. And bracing yourself against whatever the hell might be beyond the door, your hand reaches for it. And you can just hear music. You can hear the sound of a small little band of classical musicians. You can hear violins and violas. You can hear faint tinkering of piano keys, and you can kind of hear conversation and chatter. And as you open the door inwards, you find yourself staring into a ballroom. A large, long room with tables sort of between the walls and the dance floor, lined with chairs, the finest of china and clothware, mountains of food, music that just seems to filter from down beyond the edges of the ballroom, and just this swirling cohort of dancers shifting through the space. Shuyet, Grace, and Xander, you can hear the music as well as it sort of pours down into the underground lake and reverberates around.
He's gonna turn back to them, reluctantly look over his shoulder at the ballroom, and then be like, "This way."
I'm going to try fly and follow.
When Grace is on safely on the platform, I'm going to go and see what that gold thing was in the wall.
Give me an investigation check.
I can. Okay. 25.
What the fuck?
You are rooting kind of as you see Byron kind of flutter up towards the music and the room beyond, and Byron calling out, Grace's breath kind of slowing. You shift Xander over towards that kind of mound, and this looks like where part of the mansion may have collapsed. That maybe rooms above fell. You don't know, but you clearly see this isn't tree trunks. This is carved timber, and a lot of it is rotten, a lot of it is broken. But as you pull away at the debris, it is torn. It is actually broken as you pull it out. But you find what would have been at one time a rather ornate picture frame. And the picture in between the broken frame, and most of the gold leaf has actually faded or rotted off. The water feels logged. You're staring at the portrait of a dark-skinned high elven woman, hair pulled back, and around her neck hangs a silver locket. And you can just make out engraved on part of the frame, Lady Eleni.
Eleni, how do you spell that?
Elini. The rest of it is missing.
Okay, that's how I spelled it. Perfect. Okay. I will kind of carry that back over to where Grace is and kneel down beside them and offer them my water skin.
Grace is very shakily going to take the skin and hesitantly drink.
I haven't poisoned it.
Oh, it's not you. It's mainly because of how cold the air is making their skin feel. They're worried that the water in their mouth will feel even worse. They're going to you're going to see them kind of brace themselves as they take a sip.
He just kind of rests himself on the painting so Grace can probably see the portrait.
Grace, it burns a little, it does. It catches a little in your mouth, and you kind of find yourself coughing up a little bit. But then you see Xander sort of standing there with this portrait, and you recognize the woman in it.
That's. I've seen her.
Oh? Maybe there are other portraits or something.
Her name is Eleanor. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I'm just going by what it says at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Would Grace have been able to read that from where they are?
I'm beside you.
You can kind of make it out. You see that where the inscription is, it's broken off, or it's missing, or it's faded. You're not sure, but it just says Lady Elenai, but the rest of it's missing.
I heard. You know when I hit Byron.
Yes.
So you know the way before I seen you earlier when I bit that poor, I believe it was a halfling gentleman on the cheek. You seemed to think that I was crazed.
A little bit. Forgive me.
Oh, listen, listen. I am not going to. Anyway, when we stepped into the house, I was in a different room, but it wasn't me. I wasn't me. I was her.
Oh. Okay.
And whoever killed her wanted to possess her in an unhealthy manner, and she apologized. She said that terrible things were going to happen here.
Oh, well, I guess so far she would be right.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know what's. I think I need help. You're going to see Grace has been trying to kind of like get themselves up, but they just can't. They do not have the strength in them. And they're just gonna like kind of sit there, eyes kind of going a bit vacant, and they're like, we need to get somewhere as safe as possible, I feel.
Well, it sounds like there's a party next door, and I'm not quite sure how safe that is.
Well, can you help me, please?
Yes. I will kind of bend down to try and like get Grace like onto my back. Or at least like help her up.
Yeah.
And support her.
As Grace and Xander, as the pair of you are trying to kind of make sense of the portrait, Grace, what you saw or dreamed or remember, you don't quite know. All the while, you can hear that lilt of the music beyond. You can see Juliet. Are you at the doorway, or have you gone in?
I'm at the door.
You're at the door.
I'm kind of waiting. Again, I'm not 100% sure I trust Byron, so I want to wait for the others.
Okay, and Byron, have you gone in, or what are you doing?
Yeah, he's in and kind of like he's just inside the door.
When you so as you kind of like seeing Juliet kind of hovering, and you can see kind of Grace and Xander chatting. They seem like Grace seems okay, like they shaken and in pain but alive. You kind of take a step in through the doorway. Have a long rest.
Oh, jeez, thank you.
As you step in through the doorway, you feel elated. You feel light. You feel giddy. You feel joy overtake you. Your belly feels full. Your cheeks feel warm, flushed even. You can taste the ashen brandy just on the back of your tongue, and something sweet that followed it. And even on your lips, there is the faint trace of somebody else's Byron, as you step into the room and you catch their eye. You see her dancing and moving gracefully, deadly, playing the game, hunting. And she smiles at you. And a wisp of a memory plays at the back of your mind as you just see this ashen blonde hair pulled up into a high kind of ponytail tied with golden thread. And she slips through the crowd.
He goes to follow her.
Everybody else? You see Byron kind of, his clothes look perfect. He doesn't look wet. The clothes don't look like they've been scorched. And you see him he's standing at a table and he's swaying. And then he just moves into the crowd. And you just see this gathering of people swishing back and forth to music being played somewhere in the ballroom.
This doesn't help Juliet's suspicions of Byron's kind of leading us through this whole thing, and he seems perfectly safe when the rest of us are somewhat suffering.
You're a bat!
Bats can suffer.
He did it to himself!
I'm a suffering bat.
Aren't we all?
So just seeing all this and suspicion and feeling like everyone's kind of temporarily at least out of danger, he will drop the bat form, and start to edge backwards towards where Xander and Grace are, and just say, with the data I've gathered so far, is this somewhere we want to go? I don't trust Byron.
Wisdom saving throw, Juliet.
Okay.
Has only Byron had a long rest?
Yep, only Byron.
22.
As you move back into the room,
Yeah.
and as you approach Xander and Grace, who had kind of moved away from the edge a little bit, and you can see the portrait. Like, Xander, have you just kind of left it there?
Yeah, just kind of like I would show it, so I kind of just have it like in my hand. I'm not like too focused on focused on getting Grace up.
And you're telling them about the room. You're telling them Byron's gone in, and you're trying to ascertain the situation. There's something down there, Juliet.
In the lake?
In the lake. You can feel it. There is the faint traces of magic emanating from the surface of the water. It is there, and like a breath of air, vanished, but not dissipating, pulled down deep below the water. Everything in this room, every energy, every arcane feeling, every ion of who you are and what everything in this room is being pulled downwards.
Okay. In saying all of that, I do think we should get out of here. I don't think it's safe.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, yeah.
What you're saying is Byron's just left.
Are you surprised?
No, not really.
But there is there's something in there, and I don't think we're equipped to deal with it, and it's going to pull us all apart if we stay in this room.
Well, then what are we doing standing here? Let's go. And I will haul Grace kind of as fast as I can towards the door.
Up the stairs towards the ballroom. Again, the music gets louder, and you can feel the warmth emanating from this room. You can smell the fine food, the drink. You can smell the people and the perfume and the sweat. And as each of you steps through, or Grace dragged through the threshold, take a long rest.
Oh, please,
As
thank you.
You feel elated. Grace, on a table there is a stack of mooncakes. The sweetened lavender smell emanating from them that catches at your nose. And stood around the table looking up eagerly at you, you see the Medamoons, dressed in all their finery. Oisin takes a very, very proper bow as he extends a hand to you. And Nana starts elbowing him in the side. Gentleman, he is. Absolute gentleman. Go on, go for the dance. Xander, as you kind of feel, and it's like you again, you catch yourself. It's your body. It's voluntary. A burp. But one does not burp at an occasion such as this, and a gentleman
Absolutely not,
never
no.
burps in the presence of a lady. You do your best to sort of squash it in your throat, and then you just feel something tap you on the shoulder twice. Tisk, tisk. Mr. Vernicier. How unbecoming of a gentleman. And this woman just steps in front of you in a wonderfully fitting gown. This long blonde hair in curls, just sort of spilling over porcelain skin. And you see Emily.
He kind of cracks a smile. I do apologize. Does the lady forgive me?
Only if I have this dance. And then she stands there waiting for you to ask her.
He kind of takes like a breath, kind of tries to like reason with himself that, you know, how real can this be? He knows what happened. But after kind of like everything that's just happened essentially in the last couple of hours, he bows respectfully and smiles up at her. May I have the stance?
She smiles back, and like the fan clacks it open, and she kind of fans herself a little bit. You'd make a lady blush, Mr. Vernicier. But yes, I don't believe my dance card is quite full this evening. And then she extends a hand to you very daintily. And as you reach for her, as you reach to take her hand, Xander, and that the knowledge of who Emily is, the knowledge of what happened, the knowledge of where Emily is right now fades. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. Grace, as Oisin extends a hand to you, a second person kind of cuts across.
No. No.
I beg your pardon, but the lady is spoken for.
Shit.
And Oisin takes a step back as Thane Greyline steps in, wearing full military regalia, like this tailored suit jacket buttoned the whole way down, 4 stripes along the navy arm of his suit jacket, very, very tight fitting charcoal pants, and these soft black leather shoes. His hair is slicked back, and a single strand of it is just dangling over his forehead. His beard, his jawline, all of it, you can see the sweat glistening on his brow as he sort of, his body, his muscles heave against the fabric. And you see every stitch is struggling to contain him in the way that that man could fill out a suit.
Oh.
And he holds a hand out to you. My beloved.
Grace is going to look down at to see what they're wearing.
You're wearing your clothes as normal. You're wearing your armor and your swords.
This isn't real.
And he just kind of looks at you.
Like, this can't be.
And he leans in towards you, and you can smell him. You can smell the sandalwood and cedar smoke cologne. You can smell him. You can smell his skin, his sweat, as he presses himself against you. And he tucks his index finger under your chin, and he tips your head up, and he presses his lips against yours, and you can feel his beard. It tickles and it scratches at the same time. And you can feel the air in your lungs just draw out as butterflies fill your stomach. Real enough for you, Miss Stormfield? And he takes a step back. Again, his hand out to you.
Grace is going to cast an eye about to see if they can put eyes on everybody else.
You can see as you look around the room, you can see Xander standing there talking to a young woman with blonde hair in a beautiful ball gown. And the pair of them are laughing, and she's kind of fanning herself with a small little hand fan. As you strain to look for Byron and Juliette, you don't see them in the crowd. There are just people dancing everywhere.
I know I am going to regret this, but I miss you so terribly. And Grace is going to put a trembling hand into Thane's.
Give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Of course.
Juliette, your belly is full, over full. It's the fullest it's ever been. It's uncomfortable. And that potion in that cup, it was vile, it was nasty. It tasted like a mouthful of rotten squirrel berries. Nasty, foul thing, and warm in your throat and warm in your belly. But you don't feel comfortable. You feel like you're wearing a skin that's not your own, standing here in all of this regalia and finery, pompness. You've attended occasions like this. at Mistian University.
Mm.
Functions for the faculty. But this has never been a space that you felt like you belonged in. What are you doing in this moment?
Firstly, I love that everyone's with the love of their life and I'm with food. But yeah, that awkwardness, that overwhelmedness of being in a crowd and knowing that he's never what people want to be around, or he makes people awkward, and so he has his notebooks. He's going to kind of look around for a quiet corner or even a bookshelf where he could find something, or somewhere he can just be without interacting or taking part.
Okay. You move into that corner.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you've sort of positioned yourself kind of away from many of the bodies, many of the people moving and spinning. In the room, in the din of all that is happening between the music and the laughter and the conversation, Shiet, you hear a door open and close. Not a bang. It's not shut violently, but it's just a door opens and closes somewhere in this room,
Mm.
and that kind of pulls your attention for just a moment. And the bow cuts across the strings of the violin, and you hear a scream.
Well, that's not ideal.
And then the smell hits you. You turn, and all the lights in the room are extinguished. The room is grey. It is barely lit by the light of the twin moons outside the windows and the French doors. You see bodies, skeletons everywhere. The food on the table is just mold and dust. It is sitting in your guts. It is caught on your tongue. It is silken on your fingertips as you gag from the taste. Xander and Grace, what did you get on your wisdom saving throws?
I got a 17.
And I got a 16.
Fails.
Heish.
Oh dear.
Teehee.
You see Shiet, Grace, and Xander wrapped in the arms of two spectral entities. And they spin through the ballroom. In the middle, just sort of spinning on its own, you see this gentleman standing there, sort of mimicking the movements of a waltz, but there's nobody in his arms. His eyes lock on you, and he looks so full of woe. And then a goblet flies off a table straight towards you. Get out! And I need everybody to roll for initiative as we leave the session there.
I knew it. I knew it was too good to be true. That man hated a suit.
That was a nat one. So
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, so what did you get? So Emma, nat 1.
so 4 total.
Okay, but a nat 1.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit you with that goblet when we start.
Yep.
Okay.
I would expect nothing less.
You are welcome. Sorry, I should have said Grace and Xander, yours are both at disadvantage as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn it, because I rolled well.
Mm,
That was
thanks.
good.
Oh, that's actually not that bad. 11.
I
Okay.
swapped my numbers around. I went from a 21 to a 12.
Okay. And perfect. Okay. We will pick that up in 2 weeks' time then. Thank you so much to Tendai, Emma, Eilish, and Soph this evening. I know it was only 2 weeks ago that we were playing, but it feels so much longer.
It really does.
I'm having an absolute blast, and I'm hoping the drawing the tiles for the rooms is as much fun as I had intended it to be.
Yeah, it's good,
And I hope it doesn't come back to bite us all in the butts.
Oh, it's gone.
But I'm. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you to everybody in chat who was watching along. Thank you everybody who just tuned in and hung out with us this evening. We are D8 Dungeon. We are a group of TTRPGers, predominantly from Ireland, but with friends and players from all over the world joining us on various adventures and stories and campaigns. Our aim is to do just that. Tell stories, share them with the world, have a laugh, sometimes have a cry, but above all else, have fun doing all of that. For more from D8 Dungeon, you can check us out on social media at D8 Dungeon on all major social media platforms. Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok. We're not really that active on Facebook, and we don't really do that other terrible place anymore. And if you don't use any of those spaces, but you do want to learn about more who we are and what we're doing, check us out on our Discord server. There's a link to it in the chat where you can meet some of the nicest, sweetest, kindest, and funniest people on the internet. And I'm there too. We stream here on Twitch twice a week, every Monday and Thursday, with Saving Grace, Ben and Declan on a roll, TTRPG Trials. Random DMs is currently on hiatus, but we have a new adventure starting very, very soon. And surprisingly, I will be DMing it. I'm trying something new. I'm going to try something new. I am actually trying something new because I'm using a different system entirely. But I digress. If you're like, okay, yeah, that's Twitch. What about podcasts? We also have one of those. In fact, we have an award-winning one of those. If you are in the mood for a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of a cry, and a whole lot of love, then you really should check out our podcast series, Romancing the Dungeon. We're in our 3rd season. This is the final season of this arc. I am beyond excited to tell this story. There's been some interesting reactions to the last few episodes that have come out. And you can catch all of those on every major podcast platform. There's a brand new episode out this Friday, and some of our friends from our Discord server took the time out to help make this episode, which I'm really, really excited to finish off and insert into the episode as a fun recap. Okay. Before I get a big thank you to Tread Softly as well for our intermission video as well with all the mythological creatures.
Cool.
So thank you for that. And yeah, we're back in 2 weeks' time. There isn't a TTRPG Trials this week. They've had to postpone, but I might see if any of the gang are around for doing something. I don't know. We might do something on Thursday. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'll try and blackmail somebody to playing some games with me. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for another Saving Grace.
Bye. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.